You are watching the Michigan Football Report. I am your host, James Yoder. We are going to dive into the latest news and rumors here around the Michigan football program. Film this Tuesday night. It's going to put it out on demand as well Wednesday early here on the channel. Make sure you get that ranking there. There you go, Jack. Michigan is ranked number 2 in the college football playoff. Got my guy, producer Jack Lauderay, with me on my right, your left, I guess it is. Breaking down the top 25 and what happened around this program. But let's take a look at the CFP rankings that were released Tuesday night and dive into what our just general thoughts are here. Georgia 1, Michigan 2, TCU is 3, USC is 4. So you've got the 4 teams that really control their own destiny that will play in college football conference championship games this weekend. 2 teams sitting on the sidelines that I don't think deserve it because of the magnitude of their losses, Ohio State 5 and Alabama 6. Folks, 5 days from now, the college football playoff rankings will be finalized on Sunday. We will be live at 10:45 Central where we live here in Dallas, 11:45 Eastern for the college football playoff final rankings and the matchups. Who will Michigan take on, right? If everything holds serve, it won't be that exciting, believe me, but we will have a Michigan TCU, a Michigan USC, maybe a Michigan Georgia, hell, maybe even a Michigan Ohio State as things could break down. We'll have a preview for you on Sunday, but we will react live with you guys taking your questions and reacting to the final college football playoff as Michigan will go to the CFP for the second year in a row. All right, coming up in a second, we're going to talk about who might return in 2023. There's a bunch of guys who are either fifth year that absolve their normal eligibility, or 4-year guys who have that 5th year because of the COVID, both 5th and 6th. So we're going to dive into that. I've put the word out and asked a former roommate of one and a couple of people who know the parents of another, and I think I've got a good read on where things will shake out. So stick around with us. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But I want to ask you guys a question. What is your one-word reaction to Ohio State ranked number 5 in the college football playoff? Mine is expected, okay? That's what we expected, right? I don't think there's any major surprise here at that being number 5. Now, I did think that there was a chance they could get number 4 because the committee, they haven't done it this year, but the committee has played games in years past by, 1 year Texas A&M, there was like 10 undefeated teams in early mid-October first ranking, and Texas A&M was ranked number 4 with a loss and stuff like that. So they play games here and there, but I am going to go with expected. Seeing Marcus Williams, Mike Layton, Kukios, also expected, overrated, and respect is what they are saying. So let me know in the comments your one-word reaction to Ohio State being ranked number 5. Your 2022 Big Ten Coach of the Year is Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh. I was like, back-to-back years, but no. You know who won it last year? Mel Tucker won the Coach of the Year last year. Maybe you could say it was deserved because of the head-to-head win against Michigan and Jim Harbaugh, but Michigan went 11-1 in the regular season last year. The only loss was to Michigan State. So they gave it to Mel Tucker, the 10-2 Spartans who lost their bowl game without Kenneth Walker. We really, looking back what happened in 2020, looking what happened in 2022, you could make an argument that Kenneth Walker was their entire program. Outside that year, Mel Tucker's career as a coach at Colorado for a year, Michigan State 3 years, looking like kind of a disaster at this point. But congratulations to Jim Harbaugh. Both his peers, the coaches, and the Big Ten media voted him the Big Ten Coach of the Year. So congrats to him. How about Michigan defensive lineman Mike Morris, who was only in the game against Ohio State for 12 snaps. He is your 2022 Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year. Mike Morris could go pro, and I think a lot of people expect him, but he could, of course, return. First year as a starter, so he potentially could come back, try to increase his draft stock. But he reminds me a lot of David Ojabo in that he came on and Ojabo didn't lead Michigan in sacks last year, but Mike Morris did this year. But Ojabo made a big impact, maybe bigger than Morris's this year. But with him winning Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year, I expect him to be second or third team All-American potentially. Hell, maybe first team All-American. But shout out to Mike Morris. What a kind of turnaround from him from being a bench player, backup player for 3 seasons, and now being the Big Ten's Defensive Player of the Year. All right, guys, we showed you these in the show. I think this was, Monday, Jack? Yeah, it was yesterday, Monday. And we they're still pretty cheap, right? These are two shirts that I think are awesome. Jack and I both ordered them. We'll be rocking them at the national title game. Jack, you and I both got this one right here. It is a blue banner across the top. It's not really, it doesn't come through on screen as well as it does in person. Blue banner. It says M Club supports you, just like the players run out to. This bad boy is only $22.49. Link, can we toss those in the comments, Jack? The link to them in the top. I got them right here. Both of these are available. So you've got the M Club, chatsports.com/M Club. I put the link in the live chat. Also, if you're watching later on, it'll be down in the comments in the description of today's video. And how about this bad boy? The Jordan brand Michigan Wolverines shirt. I just put buy now, right? Because it's so damn cheap. It's only $18.74. This shirt is awesome. I got one of these coming for myself as well. $18.74. Chatsports.com/buy now. Buy one of these for yourself. Or buy one for someone in your life. You got a Michigan football fan who's a brother, cousin, friend, your sister's stupid boyfriend. He likes Michigan as well. Get him a cheap gift. He'll see it's Jordan brand. He'll see it's awesome, and he'll think you spent a lot more than you did. $18.74. The links are in the live chat, the comments, and the description of today's video. Money, Moody. Back-to-back winners of the Big Ten Kicker of the Year, and he is a Lou Groza Award finalist for the nation's best kicker. So he could potentially win back-to-back national awards. Michigan has a ton of coaches and players up for awards. Olu Oluwatimi is a finalist, like I told you on yesterday. He is now a finalist, was named earlier today for the Lombardi Award? I can't remember which one he was up for, but whichever is the best interior defensive lineman. It's escaping me at the moment. We've got Jesse Minter up for the Broyles Award. I think Jim Harbaugh will be a finalist. If not, maybe they'll win. People are saying the TCU coach, the USC coach for AP Coach of the Year, and various other potential awards. Lou Groza, maybe back-to-back for Jake Money Moody. So that is the award season for Michigan. Big Ten offensive awards and offensive first, second, third team, etc. Mozzie Smith was a first teamer on the Big Ten, all Big Ten defensive team. So that is the awards that have been given out today from the Big Ten. But I want to ask you guys this question. If TCU or USC lose on Saturday, or TCU is Saturday afternoon, 12 o'clock Eastern time, and then USC is actually Friday night against Utah, a team that's already beat them. If one of those teams loses, should Ohio State jump them and be in the college football playoff? Give me a Y or an N. I'm going to go through a few of these from the YouTube live show. So give me a Y or an N. I'll give shout-outs here for the next 10 or 12 seconds. I got a no from Brandon Hatmaker. We've got a Jason Panic says USC yes, TCU no. I kind of agree with that one, although I don't want Ohio State to make the CFP. TCU, I think if they lose and they keep it respectable, 10 points, 12 points or less, I do think that TCU should still get in. No from Xavier, no from Zaire, no from Rob, no from Julian Garcia, no from Austin Adams, Bill Graves. Basically, it's no's down the line. I have not seen a single one. Phil, Rob saying no as well. So let me know down in the comments description Y or N. All right, Michigan is planning as of today to rest up a few of their starters who didn't get in the game much, right? They got in a little bit, but didn't get in the game much on Saturday against Ohio State. So Blake Corum played in 6 plays all in from what I take from Pro Football Focus does these, play charts and everything like that. I didn't see him there for 6 plays. I only thought he had like 3 plays, but they said he played 6. Mike Morris played in 12 plays. Luke Schoonmaker's been injured for a while. I don't think they'll miss much from Schoonmaker necessarily because of Colson Loveland's emergence. As long as Donovan Edwards can continue to do, as long as he didn't tweak anything, which I haven't heard anything, and he can be their running back, that takes care of Corum. Mike Morris, Michigan did a heck of a job on defense. Now, they didn't have the pass rush without him, but I think Michigan will be fine. 16-point favorites over Purdue. Whether or not they blow Purdue out, like they did last year, 42-3 over Iowa, I think is yet to be seen. But I think Michigan can get by Purdue. If it means that these 3 guys will be back 100% for the college football playoff on New Year's Eve, I think it's well worth them sitting out these games. How about 2023? Michigan has a handful of players. We're going to talk about 6 of them here that could return for next year. Now, their eligibility has either been expired, I think all the guys here would technically be out of eligibility, right? Luke Schoonmaker expected to return as of now. Michael Barrett been with the program for 5 years, redshirted in 2018. He's been on the field a ton, 2020, 2021, 2022, here and there in 19. Remember you guys, he threw a pass, I think, to Daxton Hill in 2019, if I recall correctly. I think it was against Army. Mikey Sainristil. Imagine if you get those guys back. 2 starters from your defense, Mike Barrett, Mike Sainristil, who I think might be the MVP of the defense, all things considered. Was really disappointed that he did not get all Big Ten first, second, or third team. Mike Morris, 50-50. It's going to depend on his draft stock. And then Michigan cornerback G-Mon Green, who started 8 games so far this year, 50-50 back on G-Mon Green. Those last 2 guys, I think it's going to come down to whether they think they can get drafted. Morris, top 2 or 3 rounds. G-Mon Green, really drafted at all. Erick had season-ending surgery about 6 or so weeks back, and from what we're hearing, as of now, he is strongly considering, I would even call him strongly leaning towards returning next season, right? He thought that after the 2021 season, he could be a second or a third round pick. Coming back this year, had he had a season that he thought, and many people thought he could have, which would probably been around 45 catches, 600 yards, 6-7 touchdowns, he could have been a second round pick, third round pick this year, maybe better, depending on how they judged him athletically, which is what he is known for. But after not having a huge start to the season, did a decent few games, but being injured, I think it's a good call for him to come back, right? Maybe Michigan can get him some sort of NIL deal so he can live a little large as a fifth-year player next year. But think about the embarrassment of riches Michigan will have at the tight end position. If you've got Erick, a starter, Luke Schoonmaker, who's been a starter, Colson Loveland, who's now your starter, all back at the tight end position. I know Jim Harbaugh at the beginning of the year said, we've got 10 guys at tight end. You could have 3 guys who are all conference-level players at tight end, all return for this team in 2023. And I think a lot of the reason why there's 2 reasons this recruiting class has been a little slow this year, although Michigan's had 4 commitments since Saturday, 1 in 2024, though, is I think Michigan is allowing guys like G-Mon Green, Mike Sainristil, and others, Erick, Luke Schoonmaker, to come back for a 5th or 6th year, use that COVID year of eligibility, so they don't want to do what Michigan did under Matt Dudek a few times, which is all of a sudden you're sitting there and you've got guys who are getting ready to enroll in school and you don't have a spot for them because people came back to the program. So maybe after the Big Ten championship game, these guys start making the decisions before signing day on December 21st. Maybe that is the reason that Michigan's going to have a smaller class that won't probably be ranked inside of the top 16, 18, probably actually around number 20, 21, 22 when all things are said and done. So keep an eye out for Erick Hall's announcement. Maybe it won't come till January, but we might know here in the next coming days or weeks. Let me ask you guys this question. Which was a better team? Now, if you've got to be in your mid-30s, I think, at least, to give a realistic answer to this question. Because if you're younger than 25, 28, 30, this is 25 years ago. If you're younger than 35, I would say, you don't remember the 97 team well enough, and you can't kind of compare apples to apples. Now, I will say this. 97 was a more talented team, probably top to bottom. You go back and look at the players on that team. Hell, Tom Brady was the backup quarterback. You had 5 offensive linemen who I think 4 of them got drafted. You had defensive players, Ian Gold and others that were all over the field. I think something like 35 guys in that roster played in the NFL at some sort. But they didn't dominate every game. Penn State, away game against Penn State was probably the most dominant game of the year, but they struggled against maybe the top 5 Ohio State at home, right? It was a very close game. I think the final score was something like 20-14, whatever it was. But you needed Charles Woodson to do everything. Not taking anything away from that team. They weren't as dominant at times as this 2022 team has been pretty much the entire year outside of the Illinois game. But I think if you look at quarterback, I guess at this point I'd give it to 97. Defense, I'd slightly give it to 97. Maybe the best defense in Big Ten history, slightly give it to them. Offensive line, running game, big to Michigan, and then tight ends, wide receivers. Although 97 had Jeremy Tooman, I might actually give that combo to this year's Michigan team, even though this has been a lackluster wide receiver group. All that year's team really had was Ty Streets making a big-time impact. So let me know, 2022 or 97. I got Brandon saying 2022. Terry V. Sky says, I'm at 45. This team is not as good as 97, but it's close. This is from the live chat. Let me know down in the comments if you're watching this later on the Michigan Football Report channel later on in the week. If you guys have not yet, make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'll put the link in the live chat here, and it'll be down in the comments and the description. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter. If you're watching this live, I'll follow some of you guys back right now. I'll look at my phone here in a couple moments. It's at James Yoder. I'm putting the link in the live chat. Go ahead and give me a follow at James Yoder. I'm I'm having a pretty good run on Twitter lately. So if you like all Michigan football all the time outside of YouTube, go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter.